This is a beautiful story of chess origin. Chess is one of the world's most popular games. The Iranians and the Indians might be their inventors based on ancient scrolls, which have been found in both territories. On the one hand, chess was known in Iran as shatranj. On the other hand, chess was known as chaturanga in India. Both shatranj and chaturanga are very similar to current chess. Their pieces symbolized the four forces of their armies: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and carriages. There are a lot of stories about chess. According to the Indians, there was a famous philosopher who lived on a high mountain. His power was very amazing, and he was able to create this complex game in a night of magical inspiration. Legend has it that in the province of Telangana in India lived for many years a rich and generous king named Iadava. An adventurer named Varangul attacked Iadava's kingdom. He had to wield his sword, and in front of his army faced Varangul's army. Iadava, who had a military genius, defeated Varangul in the fields of Daksina, but he paid a heavy price for his victory. His son Ajamir died in combat. There was so much sadness in Iadava's heart that he locked himself in his castle and no longer wanted to talk more with anyone. His only consolation was to repeat the maneuvers of a combat in the sandbox as a tribute to the memory of his beloved son, Ajamir. But one day it came to the sad palace, a young Brahmin named Lahir Sessa from the village of Manir. He asked the guards to see the king, saying that he had invented a game especially for him in order to cheer his hours of solitude. Iadava decided to receive Lahir Sessa in his palace. He had a great curiosity to see the game which had been invented for him. When Lahir Sessa was in front of the king, he gave him a beautiful board divided into 64 squares and 32 pieces, 16 of white and 16 of black. Each group of pieces represented, according to Lahir Sessa, two armies, the army of Varangul and the army of the king. After some brief explanations, the king began to play with great enthusiasm, really fascinated with this new game. And it happened that Iadava had to sacrifice a rook to win the game, changing one more valuable piece by one less valuable. This opportunity was exploited wisely by Lahir Sessa. He told the king, "Sometimes we need to make a sacrifice to achieve a greater good for everyone." Iadava caught the acute observation which made a reference to his son Ajamir, sadly died in combat. Pleased with the beautiful game that Lahir Sessa had invented for him, Iadava told Lahir Sessa, "Ask me what you want, and I will give you immediately." Sessa kindly explained to Iadava, "I would like to receive a grain of wheat for the first square, 2 grains of wheat for the second square, 4 grains of wheat for the third, 8 grains of wheat for the fourth, and so on until the 64th square." By hearing such a humble request, Iadava began to laugh non-stop. After a while, he ordered that he would be given what he had requested. Later, mathematicians confusedly came to the king to tell him that it was impossible to accommodate that request. The quantity of wheat was so great that all the wheat from his kingdom was not enough to pay what he had promised Lahir Sessa. This is the incredible amount of wheat after reaching the 64th square. 18 quintillion, 446 quadrillion, 744 trillion, 73 billion, 709,551,615. Iadava was amazed by such an impressive figure. He told Sessa, "Unhappy is he who assumes the burden of a debt whose worth cannot be measured by the simple means of his own intelligence." Iadava embraced Sessa and appointed him to first vizier for life.